All right, and we're back with round four. This is going to be Matt Christmer on Five Color Creativity versus Aubrey on Bring to Light Scapeshift. This is going to be a good old five color mirror, is what we're looking at. And yeah, this is going to be a bit of a grindy one.
Sam is on the way back.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, and Sam's going to be joining us in just a second.
I'm gonna get that life counter going for them.
Awesome. And yeah, this is going to be a bit of an interesting one. I know that Aubrey's list is a bit different than the traditional, previous Bring to Light Scapeshift. It is going to be a five color variant, and it's going to be closer to five color Omnath, honestly, just with Valakut Scapeshift in the deck. Meanwhile, Matt is going to be on a bit of a classic now five color creativity list. Yeah, creativity is kind of shifted towards white a lot recently, and so we've got Mana Tithe in this list. It's going to be a real interesting one, and both players are off. It looks like we see double tap land, and that's really going to be the pace of this game. We're just going to be playing a lot of slower, grindier, make sure things are set type game. This is not going to be very fast, and if it is, something is probably going wrong. But we are going to see a Valakut turn one from Aubrey, and then a Jetmir's Garden, the Naya Triome from Matt. It looks like Aubrey's having a tough decision with this Flooded Strand. What to fetch? My guess is that we're going to be seeing a Renin 6 come down this turn, so it's got to be something with green. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be going with the Teamer color combo rather than the Naya color combo, which is the other option. And yeah, there's the Renin 6, going to be picking up this Flooded Strand. All right, we'll see a pass back to Matt. See an Arid Mesa. And I believe I saw a Deduce in Matt's hand. So that's one for the later turns. We are going to be fetching, going down to, I believe this should be 19, unless we shock. And we will be shocking with the Steam Vents, going to 17. And it looks like a Renin 6 of our own? Oh no, it's a Prismatic Ending. Get that Renin 6 off the board. And a pass back. Looks like there's a lot of lands in Aubrey's hand. So that Renin 6 was probably not super important. Obviously, more relevant for the late game threat than anything. And we are going to be seeing a fetch from Aubrey. Matt tapped out, no counter spells here. And with 3 mana, let's see what Aubrey can do. Look like it's going to be a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, and then we're going to be seeing an additional land drop. It's another Valakut. So the next few land drops are going to be pretty painful out of Aubrey. Let's see what Matt has to say about this. You do really have to answer this now, because if Aubrey has 2 lands in hand and at least one of them is a fetch land, you're going to be facing down minimum 12 damage to the face. We'll see a Bloodstained Mire, 3 mana, and just a pass. Alright, well, let's see if Matt's got the removal spell for this Dryad right now, because you can respond to the trigger. However, if that second land is a fetch land, it's going to be kind of rough. You can just respond with another fetch. And we're going to be seeing the 6th land. It is going to trigger 2 Valakuts, so let's see what happens here. Ooh, this is going to be a bit of bad timing out of Matt if he does have an answer. This is Bring to Light Scapeshift versus 5 Color Creativity, joined by Sam again.
Hey,
what are you doing here?
sorry for the delay. I, unfortunately, at 10 p.m., the only food supply in this mall
Are those mini corn dogs?
it is mini corn dogs from the concession stand at the movie theater.
Can I have some?
Yeah, you can have it.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Yo. Authorization.
Direct action.
Oh,
You didn't
man.
take one.
I didn't take one.
All right.
I just
Welcome.
ask. I always ask.
Okay.
I know. We are going to be seeing the Ruckus Theater. Getting a Surveil, and then it looks like Matt's just going to take, what's that, 6, 12, 18
idea.
damage. Just going to die. This is actually just lethal if Matt
a
doesn't
Titan
have
comes in?
it. No, there are 2 Valakuts on board, and Aubrey just made the 6th land drop. We've got a Teferi Time Raveler, and yeah, this is just
Bad.
yeah, no, this is just lethal, isn't it? That is 6, like 2 triggers from the 6th land drop, and then fetch for
Fetch.
another 2 triggers, and then fetch for another 2 triggers. That's
We
18.
have 2 fetches in play? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 fetches in play. Yeah, the game is adding right now. That is a deduce. Draw a card, investigate. 2 mana, instant.
It looks like Gitaxian Probe
Kind of does.
from here.
I'm not sure what's going on. Like, just kill him. Just kill him. Just kill him. Just do it. Just kill him.
What is Matt's life? 13?
Oh, what happened? I thought he was lower than that.
We're gonna correct fetch. Matt's gonna take 6 more. No, he deals 12 here. Not lethal.
I thought he was at 18 before. What happened?
I'm just typing in what I see here.
I see.
I mean, the Dryad can attack, right?
No way. Yeah, this Dryad is no longer summoning sick.
It looks like they're adjusting life. Yeah, down to 7. Yeah, so we're taking
Was
6
previously
here.
at
We're gonna fetch again. I assume.
Attack for
Get
2.
in for 2.
Easy blocks.
Yeah, there it is.
Alright,
Okay.
Gamey.
All right. Wow. Why did he offer his opponent's deck to cut?
Ting, kill you.
No worries.
True. That's true. Yeah, well, I guess that was a quick one. I was totally wrong. I was talking this matchup up as going to be slower and grindier. And then it was just turn 3 Dryad, unanswered.
I mean,
Kill you.
Scapeshift has consistently like people forget how good that card is.
Yep.
Like Scapeshift, it's a 4-mana sorcery that often just wins the game.
Yeah, 100%.
And
When I was first picking up Creativity, Team or Scapeshift was one of the bigger Tier 2, every mid-go league had at least one of this matchup.
Mhm.
And that was a nightmare matchup because it was effectively the mirror, but yours didn't do anything to theirs because there's just one on the spot.
yeah,
So you would
and
very
yours
often...
involved either a double up or an attack.
Yeah, I mean, you don't win the game on the spot, so you lose the game, actually. And that's all that matters. Like, it doesn't matter if you're getting Archon, like 2 Archons, 3 Archons. If your opponent keeps 1 card in hand and they have 6 lands on board, you just die. Not 6 lands, but more lands.
Yeah, because if they just keep the Scapeshift in, you know.
Yeah. They just kill you. And it's a bit of a nightmare matchup. I know Aubrey's build is a lot slower, a lot grindier. It's closer to 4-color Omnath with the Bring Delight package in it than anything. I believe there's either 1 or 2 Scapeshifts, and Dryad is just a value creature in this deck. That's the intention, at least. And then you just have the Valakuts in the deck for value.
In my understanding of BTL Scapeshift, it was a little diff. Like it was still very very linear, but like if you know more about Aubrey's deck, like that's.
Yeah, I did play against this list before. Aubrey was like opting to go for Tybalt instead of
Ooh,
Scapeshift.
interesting.
Yeah, that's a card that
I
you
like
can
that
still play.
card.
Yeah. It flipped off of my deck a Renin 6 and a Teferi Time Raveler.
Ow.
Yeah, and then you cast his own instead.
Yuck.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, like in the same way that like you and I have been kind of back referencing that, you know, the sort of hyper modernization of decks, and you know they're hyper tuned sort of adjustments for specific metas and things like that. Like people forget that the cards of old like are still really strong, and any time that I run into Scapeshift, like you have to respect that card, because if your opponent just like has a few lands in play, you can just die. And
Yep.
so
interacting with actual land drops pretty hard to do in this format still.
absolutely.
Not really a ton you can do. There's no wasteland. You don't have stifle at 1 mana.
Yeah, we don't have Stifle. We don't have now. Luckily, like we do have the Tachana's Tidebinders to actually, like, you can hit a Valakut with that, and
Yeah.
it will
Will not turn it off.
it won't. Why?
It will not, because Tashana's Tidebinders only hit lands,
Creatures,
artifacts, and planeswalkers. Or sorry, creatures, artifacts, and planeswalkers. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Does not turn off Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Does not turn off either half of Urza Saga. It's really interesting.
Weird.
Yeah. With lands, it would be probably pretty insane, if I had to guess. Just turning lands into blanks does not sound like very fun or conducive gameplay.
I guess we could say that it is fine if it's a mana ability.
You can say that if you want. Looks like we've got a mulligan from Matt. And I believe Aubrey is going to be keeping this. I see Domain in 2 right in the opener. That's the Savaitriome Breeding Pool, no fetches necessary.
Do we have a Leyline this in?
No.
I assume we're playing Leyline, right? Ooh, that's a
Unmoored Ego.
Unmoored Ego, yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty good against the creativity deck.
Yeah, Matt is on 1 Transmogrify, and I believe is boarding into either Iona or... I don't know what Matt's on, actually. It could be Terastodon. So, you know, the question with Unmoored Ego and with Necromention, all of these effects is what do you actually name against the creativity deck? Because sometimes you get got by their juke if you name Archon of Cruelty. Sometimes you name Indomitable Creativity, and then you get to turn 8, and then your opponents just kill you with hardcast whatever fatty they have. And it looks like that is a really, really fast start. Perfect Domain off of the Grazer, turn 1. We are going to be untapping into 3 mana, and Fireworks fly in this deck at 3.
Is Aubrey playing? I assume Aubrey is playing the Leyline Binding, right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, this
There's
is
no reason not to. Really.
fully a domain deck. This is closer to 4-color Omnath that has Bring to Light as just a 5 mana spell.
3 lands, blue card, Bring to Light, and what's the last card in his hand? Dryad.
Yep.
I don't know what the blue card is.
That is an Odoaura extended.
Oh, okay, so we have 4 lands and a Dryad.
Yep. So that's just going to be make a bunch of land drops. Hope the top of your deck is nice to you. Looks like we will be getting a Surveil. That is going to be grabbing an Archon of Cruelty and putting it straight into the graveyard. Where it belongs. Seeing Arid Mesa, Steam Vents from Matt. Looks like there's no Reprieve, no Mana Tithe.
Unfortunate.
We're going to be seeing the 4th land drop.
Ooh, that it wasn't a. It was just an island. It looks like.
Oh yeah, that is.
I wonder if he plays Alara.
Probably. Got Ren at 6. This is Unmoored Ego, Nissa, and Stomping Ground.
Nissa.
Pretty sure that's a Nissa. Nissa Awakened Animist? No,
That card's good. The Awakened Animist one.
the 3 mana one?
Yeah, the one that has a land DTB trigger or a landfall trigger.
Yep. Big Lotus Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Looks like Aubrey is going to be banking everything on this Unmoored Ego, though. Let's see if it pays off. We've got more Surveils coming out of Matt. And Teferi Time Raveler I do see in the hand. It looks like it's going to be a Shock Teferi, or it could just be Leyline Binding. But we are going to be shocking, and this is going to be Teferi, and it's probably going to be bouncing the Dryad if I had to guess.
Yep.
There it goes. And drawing a card.
Fat Shadow Aubrey.
No way. He found it.
This is the
Elegant
red-white
Parlor, yes.
red-white Surveil land from Murders at Karlov Manor.
Yes.
Nice.
We currently have 3 Surveil lands on board right now. Matt's got 2. Elegant Parlor Mirror, if you will. All right, and are we going to be seeing the Unmoored Ego? Looks like it was a Ren and 6 draw, so this is going to be a pretty easy 2 mana play, 3 mana play. Let's see what it's going to be.
While Matt is tapped down.
Yep. Teferi on board, but that's not super important for this Bring to Light deck. Crazy enough.
Dryad.
Yeah,
So
we're going to be seeing a
we're
Dryad.
not worried about the
We're gonna be seeing
Morty.
second land. Well, we do have up to 2 land drops, but it looks like
We just
Aubrey's just gonna
pass?
be passing. Not really sure what's going on.
Now, obviously, I'm not a pilot of the BTL Scapeshift deck, so I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm sure Aubrey knows what they're doing a little better than I do.
Yep.
But, interesting play for sure.
I see double binding, Fable.
We see there's a I don't know if it's Nissa. 'Cause I feel like Nissa there would have been very reasonable to play that to then play the land drop to get the Dryad out if that's what he was worried about.
Yeah, you are correct because even if it's not a fetch line, it's still
An extra mana for the third.
yeah
Dryad.
positive 1 mana.
Which, if that's something that Aubrey is valuing, that would make a lot of sense. Unless we have something like Beseju or something in play or in their hand. But realistically, like, what are we worried about Besejuing? A token?
No.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like I don't know. I'm
Looks like we're going to be fetching and shocking a Stomping Ground. And that's going to be full domain. But no dwarf. 3 mana, leaving white up. That is a Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and we will also have a Leyline Binding ready to go after that. And a pass from Matt. Alright, let's see what Aubrey can do with 5 lands versus this Teferi. We know about the Unmoored Ego. We may be seeing it fired off this turn. That might be a Reprieve.
the
Extended
yellow
border.
card.
Yeah. Yes.
That might
Yeah,
be
it is a Reprieve, actually.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we
Right,
figured
so it
out.
looks like...
So that's why there was 2 mana up.
Yep,
I
Matt
understand.
was able to get it. No. There's a Teferi on board. He just missed the window.
Right.
Yeah, because he cast the turn 2 Dryad, and then
Do we attack first? I think we attack it to Fairy first.
looks like it's going to make an attack, and that will be a Leyline Binding.
Good.
Eat this.
Now we know that we're clear for the Unmoored Ego. I imagine that's what we'll see added onto the stack here now. I still need 3 of those.
Trying to figure out which ones he
Is
needs,
that
and
red, white, red, green he's
yep,
leaving up?
red,
Okay.
white, red, green.
And Unmoored Ego. What do we name?
So I think at this point in the game,
Indomitable Creativity is what he named.
I think you're supposed to be naming creativity here. Your opponent does have face-up ability to make a lot of mana, while you don't have the ability to really stifle that at all.
By mana, do you mean just like the treasure tokens and whatnot?
Yeah, treasure tokens. If you draw any monster at any time, you can just start hard casting them. Like the next turn, you will be getting to 6 mana, and the turn after that will be 8, so you're already in hardcast Archon territory. But in this matchup, you're most likely boarding into probably not Iona,
We're
honestly.
checking out again. Is there any other? Did you see any fatties in the deck?
I did not. I wasn't really looking
also
too
wasn't.
intensely. But yeah, Indomitable Creativity has left the deck. And we've got a Renin 6, a Prismatic Ending, and a Leyline Binding. It is all removal with that Teferi, making this Prismatic Ending instant speed.
Oh, yuck.
Are you having fun yet?
Yeah.
Okay. And we've got a Renin 6 of our own on this side of the table. Let's see what's
How do you
going
like
on.
ping to fairy?
I don't. It just turns into a little fight.
I mean, honestly, like ping to fairy. Matt can't play. Oh, I guess he has the prismatic ending for Ren and 6
Yeah,
the
yeah,
second time, so it's
100%,
not
yeah.
very good.
Well, I mean,
Um,
Teferi just goes up while Renin 6 goes down.
Did we
and-
discard 2 cards? Oh, 2. I got it. I
Fable,
understand.
yep.
To Fable. He pitches the ley line.
Yeah, that card is not super important right now. You've got this prismatic ending already.
Is ley line not better than prismatic ending? I guess
It
'cause it
doesn't
can
beat
get
Scapeshift.
bounced. Can't get bounced.
Gets Besaged all the same. Looks like a Renin 6 of our own on the creativity side. He's going to be picking up a land. Which one is it
Did
going
you
to be?
say ley line binding doesn't get Scapeshift?
Yeah, it doesn't get Scapeshift.
Neither does prismatic ending.
Yeah, but prismatic ending is going to get the Renin 6 right here.
Why would you not hang on to the? Is it because that's the next perceivable like threat that you might run into?
No, it exiles it for good.
No, yeah, absolutely. I just mean
Yeah, but like you're gunning for Scapeshift here. You're gunning for
You're
don't
worried
lose to
about
Scapeshift. Yeah, yeah,
I understand. So I have reprieve again. That reprieve is just rotting in Aubrey's hand, unfortunately.
yeah. Yep. And that was really just the valuing of getting presence on the board on the draw, even when you're accelerating. With a card like that, you just have to know when to take that strike, and it looks like you just missed it.
Yeah, and it's looking like Chrismer is just in the driver's seat this game, and unfortunately Teferi can kind of just do that.
Yep.
Just purely on permanence in play.
We're definitely seeing a bit of a shutdown. Like, even without creativities in the deck, Matt is not really worried at all, I don't believe.
Yeah, we would have to see.
It would have to be natural Scapeshift.
And natural Scapeshift only works when you have 7 lands, correct?
Correct.
Without Dryad.
Yep. Looks like there is a Teferi Time Raveler coming down from Aubrey, which is going to be able to take out that Goblin Shaman. Pretty important right now. The treasure tokens are very, very valuable, especially, excuse me, with
If
the
they're going
creativities
for the
out.
hard cast plan.
Yep. That being said, this Fable of the Mirror Breaker, the flip side, can definitely just run away with the game.
Absolutely. But I think answering the threat that's viable right now, like ultimately the token.
Oh, no. You definitely do not bounce the Fable.
No, of course.
Looks like we're going to be bouncing the Binding and getting the Dryad back.
Here is where Scapeshift can absolutely kill our opponent here.
Yep.
How many cards does Matt have?
1, 2,
Just a couple. Maybe 3.
+1 with the Binding. Looks like there's no Valakut, so these land drops are going to be very nice.
So
but
Scapeshift
not
would be
valuable.
lethal here.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not
Looks
a
like a
Scapeshift.
Xander's Lounge.
That is not a Scapeshift.
It is a Rotting Reprieve. That is a cycle.
Xander's Lounge.
Yep. We drew a Sacred Foundry. So flooding out a bit.
We have Scapeshift on the card highlight here. It is a 4-mana sorcery, 2 green. You can sacrifice any number of lands, search your library for that many land cards, and put them into play tapped. Now, that of course combos with Valakut, the Molting Pinnacle. That is not a legendary land, as many people have pointed out.
It's got a comma.
It does have a comma.
Hmm.
It's one of the Molten Pinnacle, I guess.
It's got many pinnacles.
Somebody does. I hear that's a game.
What?
Pinochle.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Anyway, what Valakut does is it says, is it 5 other mountains or 6 other mountains?
Yeah, whenever a mountain enters the battlefield, if there are 5 other mountains in play, Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, deals 3 damage to any target.
Yep. And so if you're able to sacrifice, now without Dryad in play, which of course makes all of your lands into all the lands, which is the reason why Aubrey there was able to tap that Wooded Foothills for mana just now to cast that Teferi. If you don't have a Dryad in play, of course you do need 7 lands so that you can count 5 lands, Valakut, and the new land entering play. That will of course deal damage. Typically the plan off of Scapeshift off of 7 lands is Valakut, 5 mountains, right?
Yep.
And then that, I don't know the math, I just know it's like 24 damage, I think.
So it's just for each mountain deals however many Valakuts times
3, so
however many
it's
mountains you have.
like 30 damage or something.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And you of course just deal all the damage to your opponent.
Matt
Now
getting in the red zone, dealing 1 damage to Teferi and also getting a treasure token. Pretty good exchange from him.
off of the dwarf, we have 3 mana here.
Classic.
Also cycling as
Nice. That is not a play you see often, and we just saw it twice in a row. And we will be picking it up. And this is actually where the Ren and 6 Surveil land, or Cycle lands really, really shine in matchups like this. This used to be a very common line of play where you would play the 3rd one just so that you could get domain and also have this line of play available to you. But yeah, it is not very common anymore, and I'm kind of surprised to be able to see it as often as we have. But most notably, if Matt has, Reprieve, it's not really solving the problem, and if Matt has Mana Tithe, obviously that's not going to solve the problem. If he's got Flusterstorm, it's not going to grab a Scapeshift at
Matt
all.
notably does have a silence in his hand.
I see.
So, upkeep silence.
is
absolutely
a line
buys a
of
turn.
play.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not perfect, but like if
Yeah.
the only thing that Matt's dying to right now is Scapeshift,
It might be
I
worth
would
it to
cast
fire
it.
it off.
Like
And it looks like that was a Scapeshift off the top. There it is.
wow.
Or is that a Windswept Heath? No, it was a Fledgestrand. I'm wrong.
Yeah, I know
Awkward.
that we still have Reprieve. What's the other card in
Other
Aubrey's hand?
card should
I
be.
can't see it.
Can't remember. I already forgot. Oh, it's not Scapeshift.
Fetch with Arid Mesa for Matt.
I'm guessing another Dwarven Mine.
I would also bet a bunch of money that that's true.
Nice. This is my favorite part of this game. Oh, it's going to be a tapped Sacred Foundry. You know what
We
that
were
sounds
wrong.
like to me?
I just lost a lot of money.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with the treasures. We're probably going to be seeing a Hardcast monster. Maybe an Iona
Yeah,
with
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of white.
Isn't Archon is it 6 black?
Yep.
And then Iona is 5 white.
It is 6 white.
God,
So
that
9
card's
mana.
expensive.
Yeah, but it wins the game when it comes down, so.
Iona is choose a color. Opponents can't cast spells of that color. Or is
Yep.
it any player can cast?
Opponents.
Wow, broken.
Right, we've got another plus on the Teferi. Both players
is-
rearranging their lands. Another cycle for the Tron.
Now, Aubrey's not playing a Titan, right? It would
don't
make
believe so.
sense to because they can't go get it off of BTL.
I believe so.
For the record, Bring to Light is a 5 mana sorcery, costs 3 green blue. It has a domain, right? Or is it what's that?
Converge.
Converge, yeah. So for every there you go. For every
Colored pip.
colored pip and the cost that you have paid for the cost, you may search a I believe it's creature, creature, instant, or sorcery out of your deck. You may cast it without paying its mana cost, equal to the amount of mana that you have paid, the amount of colors of mana that you've paid into it. So, for instance, if you pay all 5 colors, you may go get a creature, instant, or sorcery, 5 cost or less, and cast it without paying its mana cost.
Notably, very, very hard shut down by this Teferi Time Raveler.
Yes, because not only does it is a sorcery, but because it doesn't just say,
Put it into play.
yeah, put that card on the stack or anything like that. It says you may cast that card. Teferi prevents that from happening because Bring to Light will be resolving, and so the ability you can't put something on the stack if due to Teferi's ability, which says you can only cast spells as if they were sorceries.
L.
Super L.
Stop playing this card.
BTL.
Yeah, that's
I,
what
I like Bring to Light. I think that card's
No, I was talking
solid.
about Teferi Time Raveler.
Oh yeah, ban that card.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even busted. Just ban that card anyway.
Silence.
And we are going to be seeing a silence in the upkeep, and we see that Ren is 6-on-6. This is getting very dangerous for Aubrey now.
I mean, with Aubrey at 10, like, we have some time.
No, you do not. That Ren 6 will ultimate, and then you are getting silence locked.
Ah,
Yes,
so we have at least a whole turn.
you have 1 turn.
Yeah.
Right now, to either deal some damage to the Ren 6.
Well, how many lands does he have?
It doesn't really matter. You've got this Ren 6 online. Any land that he's drawn will be in hand right now because of the way that the Ren 6 plays.
Right.
We've got the copy. We're attacking.
Get in for 5?
I believe this is 3, because we've got a copy of the token, and then the 1/1. One of the
Two.
tokens is being blocked.
2, 4, 5.
Attacking for 5.
Yeah.
Dealing 3 damage.
Correct. Ooh, we had the silence. That's game over. Matt is going to pick up for game 2.
Sweet.
So we do have the silence lock, like you were mentioning. Now, what's the board in from your perspective on creativity here?
So I'm not boarding in silence in this matchup. Maybe with the Bring to Lights, it's more considerable, but I don't think trying to play
Just
to
because
exactly
it shuts
that
off BTL, like
Yep.
in response.
in response.
Okay.
I did see Matt boarding it in against a different deck that I don't really think I agree with. I think that is exclusively for
Counterspell decks.
no, other way around. He was boarding it into counterspell decks. I think that is not where you want it in matchups like that.
What, like aggro?
No, you want it against Cascade decks, and you want it against Tron and Titan. And the reason you want it against Tron and Titan is because if they do their thing, you get got. Against Tron, it is 1 mana Time Walk. Against
Yeah.
Titan, same thing. Also against Titan, if they cast Pact and you get them with Silence, they sometimes just lose on the spot. They just like go, oh, I don't have the 4 to pay for this next turn because I can't now cast the Dryad or the Prime Time.
Right.
Yep.
Interesting.
It is very nasty, very nasty.
Yeah. So if they silence on like turn 2 or turn 3, often you can just get them.
Yep.
Interesting.
And then, up at the top, obviously, if you've got the turn 2 Ren and 6 on the play, which Matt did have, it can just go all the way up, and then we can see what we just saw. I actually did that to my round 9 opponent on Titan at the RC. Game 3, Silence locked him. I happened to draw Silence when my Ren and 6 was on 5. And I just went,
Got there.
I win.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't even have to think about that.
Yeah, especially if your opponent is playing a sorcery speed deck, like what Aubrey's playing. Now I imagine counterspells can get much more difficult with Silence.
Yeah.
I assume that's why you mentioned you don't bring it in against counterspell decks.
Yeah, the thing is that you don't really want to go down a card against decks like that because they're trying to play 1 for 1. Oftentimes you're not going to be able to string, I can just Silence and then I can cast Creativity after that. That's just not really a line of play that you're really gunning for, because if that was the case, then your opponents are probably going to have just double counterspell anyway. And if not, it's not a card that I value very highly in matchups like this, really. I guess with the Bring to Light, that card in particular is very scary for this deck because you were going into Valky, which can beat Creativity.
Both players are on 7. Aubrey starting us off with a Wooded Foothills.
Beautiful.
You were saying?
What I do like in matchups like this, if you've got any form of counter spells, Flusterstorms are decent in this matchup. If you've got any, what counter spells even get played? Like if you're boarding into the Last Reprieves and stuff like that, awesome in this matchup.
Yeah, in a matchup in which, both of these decks have very powerful combo finishes, and a delay or a remand, those are very good. Just slowing your opponent down by a turn or so is a time walk which could potentially put you ahead, especially if you stumbled. And so we have a lot of very strange cards that kind of contribute to an equalization effect. It's the Lightning Helix against Burn kind of effect.
Yep.
Just really tempo matters a lot in a matchup like this, which is why I think Reprieve has made a massive impact back on the format, because it's obviously
we were about to see some dirty stuff. Ooh,
that is a Mana
throwing it
Tithe
out there.
disrespect with throwing the Mana Tithe at his opponent.
Oh man, that was a nasty one.
Give Matt a stern talking to. Both players are having a good time. I understand the feeling. I've killed players with Mana Tithe before.
Yeah, I saw that Mana Tithe floating around in the hand, and I saw the what's it called? The Grazer come down, and I knew it was either going to be this or Dryad.
Yeah.
Players, they just can't resist casting things on curve. That's just how Magic works,
Yeah, I mean, if you don't do that, often you're very behind. And so Mana Tithe absolutely just punishes that.
Yeah.
It slots into decks very effectively. I really like seeing that it's made a comeback. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
I'm a
thank
fan.
you to oh man, I don't remember his name. I think it was Sidney Myers, European player who really was the innovator on the
Oh, the second one.
second fairy tide.
Can't we do anything about it?
It looks
got him.
BM
All right.
BM.
We have
A Leyline Binding in hand.
yeah. So I
which may
believe
go
we can
for it.
we can fetch, go get a the remaining Triumph, which I don't know if Creativity plays.
It is either Xander's Lounge or it's going to be Jetmir's Garden. So it's probably going to be the Xander's Lounge for Domain if he's aiming for full Domain. It could just be the Jetmir's Garden if he's got a Steam Vents in hand, or that's the intention.
Yeah,
and
that's
just pay for
Xander's
2.
Lounge. Hopefully, we're going to pay for the Leyline Binding right here on the Teferi.
Yep.
I assume. Oh,
Best
we
case-
can't cast it on the Teferi. We have to cast it on our main
Correct.
base.
Yeah, best line of scenario or best line of play out of Matt would be fetch land for Stomping Ground to get full domain, cast Ren and 6, cast Leyline Binding.
So we don't have full domain now.
No, we are missing green.
Grixis, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, the
Grixis
mana base
plus
for these are
red
really
land.
for this deck is really weird. Just ignore the red. You've got a mono white land, you've got a blue black land, and then you're missing a green
I
land.
understand.
Yeah.
Because red really only matters for the combo boards.
Yes, pretty much.
okay, I
That
didn't realize.
and Fable and Bolt are pretty much the only red card. You've got like
How
Ren
many
and
Bolt
6.
do you play?
I play 3 right now. Most decks play 4. I used to play 4 a long time ago. I think Prismatic Ending is a lot more valuable at the moment, but it's a 4 Bolt deck, more or less. It's a 4 Fable, 4 Creativity deck, and then everything else is colored. You've got like random extra pips that are effectively colorless pips, like Ren and 6 reads green and a,
Green.
yeah, one and a green. You've got like Hidetsugu consumes all, which is like 2 and a black.
2 and a black, yeah.
Yeah.
That card's great. Hitotsuga's consumes all. Very good match card.
Yeah, 100%. And it looks like we are going to be shocking for that Stomping Ground. Let's see what we get for the 2 mana play. Could be a Deduce, but that instead is a 3 mana play. Prismatic Ending, which is a
It's a
much
very main
cleaner
phase.
answer. Well, it's not like he's going to wait.
Yeah. I mean,
Excuse
yeah, you don't have much of a choice.
Yeah.
Let's see if Aubrey has third to fairy.
You know, it'd be really funny.
Third to fairy.
I would laugh. I'd be like, wow. Is that Reprieve
There
and
is a Reprieve.
Breeding Pool in hand?
Reprieve green card. It could be Scapeshift.
Omnath,
It
yeah,
is Omnath.
definitely Omnath.
Love
First
that.
appearance. And it looks like Aubrey's just going to be passing. Matt's going to make the 4th land drop. Pass it back. So, yeah, respecting that Reprieve this time. Let's see what's going on here. Because Aubrey cannot get up to Omnath plus...
Land drop right now.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
No. Omnath plus Reprieve.
yeah.
Is really what he's valuing right now.
Okay.
Looks like he is going to be
Hard cast
playing
Omnath.
as opposed to pitch.
No
fast.
mana time.
That's a
Binding
ley
in
line binding.
response to the card draw.
Right.
Which unfortunately is the one downside of Omnath is that your opponent can kill it in response before you have the opportunity to play a land.
Well designed card, by the way.
I actually agree. I think that
Yeah.
card's like, I mean,
It's okay.
we have some difficulties there.
They had some thoughts.
They put a lot of words on the card,
They did.
but I think allowing it to get killed in response to the card draw is not bad.
We are going to get an end step dwarf token. Could we possibly see the sign of weakness into untap kill you?
Can you define sign of weakness?
Sign of weakness as in your opponent spent 4 mana to cast a spell.
Ah,
Yeah.
I thought that was a card.
No.
It sounds like a card.
Sign of weakness?
Yeah.
That'd be really fucking sick, actually. I'm certain that card will exist at some point. It looks like we're going to be getting a creativity X equals 2. There's the dwarf. Notably, we are missing Swamp out of Domain from Aubrey, so we aren't going to be able to see a Leyline Binding. We may be able to see a Solitude here.
Godless Shrine.
No. Actually, maybe.
Fetch, Godless Shrine.
Omnath has been known to play Godless Shrine. I don't know how Bring to Light feels about that, but we are going to see an X equals 2. And he says
no.
yes.
Uh-oh.
There's an Archon. And probably just going to be seeing double Archon here, if I had to guess.
Bunch of Mana Tide.
Looks like it's all the Mana Tide, not even boarding any of them out.
Three silence now.
Yep,
Another
that should be
Reprieve.
all of them.
Another silence. That's
Oop.
4.
4 silence, very nice. And
That is
there
a-
is, I believe, is Iona. Believe is a dual deck version of Iona.
It is.
It is. Iona Shield area.
What a classic. So what do you name in here?
Green.
Okay. I don't know what the
It just has to be
no,
green.
no. The answer is I don't know. Probably
Okay.
white.
I think it has to be green because
The
it's
problem
unlikely
is-
for like yes, our opponent could also cast like
Well, if they
ultimately-
cast Leyline Binding, you lose.
why?
What do you mean why? Because they take one of your big creatures.
And then you hit them with the other big creature.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. This matchup definitely not 4-color Omnath. 4-color Omnath cannot beat Iona on white,
Yeah.
like just straight up.
Now, Scapeshift notably can get around that.
Yes.
But the thing is we need 2 pieces, and I don't know if Aubrey's gonna have 2 more turns.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what color was named. Undoubtedly was green or white. We discarded a card. There's a
Could be
big
blue.
6-point life spell, life swing. Why?
So Scapeshift doesn't kill here. Bring to Light does do important things, specifically getting Valky. Teferi Time Raveler also gets caught in blue. So you're
Yes.
cutting off Bring to Light, and you're also cutting off Teferi Time Raveler.
Green also cuts off Bring to Light and
Scapeshift.
Scapeshift.
But Scapeshift doesn't kill. Teferi bounces.
Yeah.
You care about Teferi, and you care about Leyline Binding, and you care about Bring to Light
then
for Valky here.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because the Valky eats one of your creatures, and then you get to cast it a following turn. Yeah. So that's an important factor, which obviously doesn't get got by white for either of them.
Yeah.
So if it's not white...
So no matter what color Matt has chosen, Auburn
Yeah.
has outs.
Yeah, 100%. Which is why this matchup is a lot trickier than 4-color Omnath.
Yeah.
Specifically because of...
Yeah,
Double.
white was brutal. Like, naming white is absolutely brutal.
That's
so
5.
5 mana, that's Bring to Light.
Yeah, looks like the name probably was white then, if I had to guess. And it's going to be Valky. That's my guess. There it is.
All right, there's a Valky. Well, it's whatever the front half is. It's
Yeah.
going to be Valky, the 7 mana Planeswalker.
Tybalt.
Yeah,
The
Tybalt.
Fiend-blooded.
Exactly, yeah. And what
And then
Tybalt
he will
does...
plus it and discard a card at random.
Is that what that does? Can you pull up that card? The card has a lot of words on it. There we go.
No, that's I'm talking about the first Tybalt. The 2
Not
mana
that
one.
Not this card?
No, it is that card.
The backside.
It's the backside of it.
Back.
Yeah, the backside.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see that.
Okay.
Okay.
Very nice. Well done.
Want to read that?
So when it enters the battlefield, you're going to get an emblem that says you may cast spells exiled by Valky, Cosmic Imposter, and you can use any color of mana to cast those spells. The +2 is each player exiles the top card of their library. The -3 is exile target artifact or creature, and then the -8 is exile all cards from all graveyards, add triple red. So the idea is that the Valky is going to eat cards from anywhere, and then you get to cast those cards basically as colorless spells. So the idea here is that you're going to go get this Valky, and then you're going to exile one of these 2 creatures, which will obviously get rid of it. On top of that, though, if you are able to stabilize in the late game, you are able to just pay 8 and get your own Archons of Cruelty. So we are going to
How do you
downtick.
feel about just using it as a removal spell?
It's what else are you going to do? Cast a white spell?
I mean, can't you just hit the...
Ooh, that is brutal. Oh man, that is awesome. And
we're
yeah.
gonna get another one of our Archons. It looks like he's scooping it up.
Not yet, but
Oh.
will soon. Giving back the Archon because it is exiled with the Valky, but there's only one Valky in the deck.
But you do have the emblem, so you can
Oh,
still
right,
cast
yeah.
the Archon.
Still castable, yes.
So hopefully Aubrey remembers that.
Yep.
I assume that they will. They're playing the deck and all.
Yeah, that's true.
Tybalt, messed up magic card.
Yep.
That does some scary stuff.
Yeah, that card changed Cascade for the better, I guess.
Oh, that's it. Scooping it up. Drew the land off the top. Nothing else in hand. How much time do we have left in the round?
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Do we think that's
Awesome.
enough time?